friends, your favorite besties are back for another episode of No Ma'am. I'm Will, and I'm joined by my podcast co-host in Chaos.
Joanny, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single episode of No Ma'am.
Friends, the time has come. We are officially recapping Canada's Drag Race Season 6, Episode 1. And I have to say, this is probably my favorite episode.
I mean, it's definitely up there. I don't know if it's my favorite, but it was definitely a really good premiere. It was fucking
really
good.
good.
It's fucking good.
Yes. And I have to say, this is the first time that, in my honest opinion, for an international season or just any season of Drag Race in particular, that I really enjoyed majority of everyone's entrance looks.
Yes. I mean, I don't think I have a single no ma'am for looks at all this week. But what I really enjoyed about this episode is I enjoyed pretty much every queen, which is rare for me from like at least like the first episode, except for like one of them, but we'll get to that later.
Interesting. Yeah, what I love is that the people that I was standing in the beginning, I still stand them. So shout out to Ebony LaBelle and shout out to Caramel. Love those two. Those are my faves. And obviously, Dulce, love those three. Those are my faves going into the season. Like going into the season, those are the three that I was like standing. And then I also had Van Gogh on mine. Sort of changed my reception or my opinion as the episode went along. But who I'm now obsessed with? Hazel.
Bitch, Hazel.
Love Hazel.
When she came through that door, that bitch is so polished. She's beautiful, tall as fuck. She looked amazing. And then throughout the episode, I just fell more in love with her. But my favorite, I gotta say, is like after this episode, has to be Sammy, because that bitch is cuckoo crazy, cunt, delusional. I live for it. I absolutely.
Oh my god! You know what's really funny is that we were not checking for Sammy Landry when we did our Meet the Queens
at all. I was like, okay. But after this first episode, I absolutely understand her drag and her character, and I am in love with it. Afterwards, I was like, oh my god, she said she's a TikTok queen. Let me go find her. I did, but unfortunately, she only speaks in French, or at least the ones that I was seeing, she only speaks French. So I have no idea what's going on. But I was still liking those pose. Like, I had no idea what she was saying, but I was living.
Translate, child. Translate. So, how I did this is, obviously we have promo look, we have entrance look, and then we have the runway look. Just so that we can just talk about the package as a whole. Because I think for this season, what I'm really excited about is that from the promo to the entrance to the first runway, I'm seeing a through line with majority of the queens on like the first episode. And so I'm excited to see if I'm going to continue seeing this through line with their fashion, with their drag, or just like overall package, or am I going to see them like go outside the box a little bit? So first queen is Star Doll. What are we thinking? Oh, and by the way, the runway category was More is More. And I was confused with the category.
I was so excited when I heard that category, like when Brooke announced it. But I was so disappointed in the overall runway. Because I feel like a lot of them missed the mark on the more is more part. Like I wanted super extravagant, like I wanted Coco Chanel to like yell at them from their grave. And I feel like something missed the mark on that.
Yeah, I thought More is More. I was looking for like over the top and like big. Normally I don't like when the category is ambiguous or ambiguous. Right, I don't like that because my brain is like, no, I need details. And so if you give me something like vague as More is More, I don't know where to go. Right, like I don't know I don't know where to start. It takes me out because all the queens don't do the same thing. They do different things. So some can come out as lizards, some can come out as dragons. Like they could do whatever. But then you have like pageant gown that will come next. And so my brain is like, what's happening? But this episode, obviously the first runway was More is More. Then the Maxi Challenge was the queens had to write an original verse to Not Sorry About It. That was my like horrible attempt at a Canadian accent. That's one, I can't do a Canadian accent. Like I try, but I can't do it.
I think it's too similar to an American accent for us to really be able to do it like effectively. I don't know. I don't think it's that different. Like it's not like an English accent where like, you know, it sounds entirely different. Ooh.
What do you think about Star Dora? What was your first impression? Like how are we liking her so far?
I think she is really glamorous, which I adore. Honestly, for me, this episode she wasn't like the biggest standout. But like, there's so many queens that it's hard to stand out the first episode. I don't think anything she did was bad. I think her verse was solid. I think her looks have all been very on brand for her. Like, I feel like I know exactly who she is. For me, overall, the two looks she presented were yes, ma'am.
I was about to say I give Suki doll, but that's because Suki doll
That's her daughter.
is her drag mom. And I don't know why they made the connection sooner, but seeing it, all these elements of Suki doll fashion and just inspiration there, oh duh. But Star Doll, I have to agree with you. Did she wow me so much in the first episode? Not so much. But was she bad in the first episode? No, I think it was a good first episode for her. I'm excited to see what she brings on the season. I think her personality in the confessionals is pretty infectious. I think she's going to be funny, a little ditzy, and I love that.
Oh, we live for Ditty.
Yes. And so I think for what I've seen in the premiere and also on the runway, I'll give it a yes, ma'am. So I'm excited to see what Staldraw brings to the competition. All right. Next up, we have Hazel. What are we thinking?
Obsessed over, like, I think for the whole episode, like I said, she was like, I fell in love with her as the episode went on more and more. When she walked in, I thought she looked beautiful. It was a little simple, but I think it was a very well done and put together outfit. And I think she is one of the three queens that really understood the more is more and delivered on that. I like adore this outfit. This was one of my favorite looks this week. I was really surprised she was not in the top, honestly.
Same. Okay. I just like you, Hazel gets an over for me. I loved Hazel. I there's okay, how can I put this? There's something about Hazel that I find to be really interesting, very intriguing. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like she has a hidden skill somewhere that she's probably going to show us. That I don't know. It's something about it. It could be a little pageantry. I don't know, but there is polish to Hazel that I was not expecting going into the season, but that I'm getting from this. Obviously, the runway look that's polish. Like that's hands
Yeah.
down. Like that's a really good. That's an amazing look.
Mm-hmm.
And then her entrance look, and then that line, "Who's ready to get hazed?" Me. I am. Like this one, I want to get hazed. I think that fits the schoolgirl aesthetic that she came into the runway with.
Mm-hmm.
There's a through line for that. Obviously, in her promo, she was a ringleader. Through line to this also. I'm like, Hazel was giving us bad bitch energy, and I love it.
No, yeah, I completely agree. I really hope. I think she will make it really far in the competition. I hope she doesn't get unfairly eliminated, honestly, or that she doesn't flop
Same.
halfway through.
Same. And the bitch is tall, and I'm
Oh,
living for
the
it.
fact that she had to like duck walking down the runway, I was like, ooh, ooh, that's drag,
Living.
baby.
Living for it. And also Hazel, outside of drag, is very attractive.
Oh my god,
So
bitch! She posted on Twitter pictures of her like outside of drag, like when she was diving. I was like, Hazel, not today,
listen.
girl.
I want to get hazed. This
Who?
me over here. Okay. I just think that's great branding, by the way.
It is.
Like,
It is.
it's just great branding. Okay. Next up, we have Van Gogh. What are we thinking?
Okay. So for the looks, yes, ma'am. I think the entrance look was solid. It's very on brand for her. You know exactly who she is. I think the runway was amazing. I love the ear. I love how it's very punk but glamorous. I think she looked great. I did not like her verse. I thought the pacing was a little off. I don't know. It just wasn't my favorite. Honestly, because of the verse, I was a little surprised she was in the top. But for the runway look, she deserved it, yes. But for the verse, I was like, eh. What I did not like about Van Gogh was the way she treated Dulce in this episode. It just felt to me as a viewer, it felt like a bully. Like it kind of like reminded me of that, like in high school, like Mean Girls. The way she just kind of dismissed the way Dulce fell, and like her laughing at her. It was just very uncomfortable. Like I love a villain. I love a troll, but to me, this doesn't feel like that. It just feels like she was just generally being unkind to her. And I don't know. It just didn't sit right with me, honestly.
Okay. And then we talked about this, and I just couldn't wait for us to start recording so we can actually speak about it on the pod because your feelings most other people that I've watched, that I've seen on Twitter and Instagram, a lot of them feel the same way.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of what I think about the looks, I give it yes, ma'ams. I also think this is really clean. I think there's a polish to Van Gogh. Obviously, she's 1/3 of the Powder Puff Girls, so that is with her sisters Perla and Aurora Matrix. All three of them together, I think, as a group is really great. And the fact that each of them came on Drag Race like consecutively in the different seasons, I also thought that's iconic in its own right. Now, to your point about her delivery, yes, we both on No Man, we love the villains. The villains make great television, especially for Drag Race. I think if you can lean into like the Plain Janes, maybe even the Candy Muses, or the Mistress Isabel Brooks of it all, we love those characters. They make for great TV. Here is where, one, I think the editing played a factor into the off-puttingness that you feel about Van Gogh. It's because it was very short,
Mm-hmm.
right? It was like, it felt as if there was some undertones of microaggressions
Absolutely.
that it's the way it was edited, and it could have played out differently like in the untuck than what we're seeing, but editing is always going to like give you a moment, right? It's going to give people talking. Obviously, we're talking about this right now, so it's doing its intended purpose, but I think there was some undertones based on how it was edited that you can see some microaggressions.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I still enjoy Van Gogh. I'm still a fan. I still am obsessed with the character that is Van Gogh. Hopefully, throughout the season, we can see maybe a different side. What I appreciate is that her and Dulce is not faking it for the camera. Bitches, those two bitches don't like each other, and that's okay. I live.
Yeah, no,
Like,
absolutely. As soon as Dulce entered, she was like, "Ooh, bestie," but it wasn't like a bestie. Like like you knew it was the shady kind of bestie. So I was living for that because, like you said, they're not faking it. They don't like each other. They're aware of that. But they're in a competition together, so they have to live with that.
right. And I think that's another reason why it probably came out a little pointed. Is because if you're in a competition with somebody that you really don't care for, and now they're saying something to you, you're like, why are you here? Right? Like, what is that? And I think that because of that, hopefully we don't see that play on every single episode, because it's going to get tiring after a while. It's like, we get it. Y'all two don't like each other, so we can move on from this. But I think it's the way it was edited that she came off a very like flippant,
Mhm.
and it didn't come off like, oh, catty and shady. It came off mean and uncalled for.
Yeah, you said the microaggressions part, and I don't know, as a person of color who's worked in the service industry basically my whole career, um, it kind of like reminded me of those moments I've had where white people, like, I'm trying to talk to them or saying something to them and they just kind of brush it off. That's kind of what it reminded me of, and I think that's also why I was like so upset with it, because as people of color, we kind of experience that every day.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, and it happened because Paulo was agreeing with
Mm-hmm.
Dulce, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
she laughed. So
Mm-hmm.
again, Paulo is Brazilian, and then
Yep.
you also have Dulce, who's Mexican. So you have the two queens of color talking to a non-queen of color, and the other queen is like, "Well, I don't really care. Like, you guys move from my sofa."
Oh,
I
that.
can see I can see the undertones of the microaggressions, but
Yes.
I don't think that she meant it that way. And honestly, I hope in my heart of hearts that it was just the editing and how it played out, and it made it seem that way, because it's a really great moment and it's going to keep people like talking about it.
I
And I
mean,
think
yes.
that's the purpose.
Yeah. There's one more thing I want to say about this though, is I saw a comment on one of the Instagram posts that I absolutely adored, and somebody said it's the battle of the turtleneck bitches. I fucking lost it when I read that. That was so funny to me.
I hate society. I really hate
But here's the thing.
society.
Dulce commented back, and she was, what she said? I think she said like gather us or something. So she was like in on the joke. She was laughing too. But I just
Yes.
thought that was so funny, and I needed to say that.
Yeah. No, it's what I love about Duce, and we're gonna talk about that when we get to her slide. But she's from London. I think London
Ontario.
like
Yes.
London, Ontario. And every time I hear London, I'm like, she's English? And I'm
That
like, what?
I thought so too. I mean, when I first saw that, when like I think her Instagram says like Ontario, London, and like I forgot what other city. I was like,
Yes.
this bitch is from the UK, and she didn't compete in the UK. I'm confused.
Yes, yes, yes. Also, I think it's really smart. I didn't talk about this, but Van Gogh, it was like a play on Van Gogh. I had no,
Mhm.
I like honestly, it just did went over my head. And when she was like, "I'm ear," and then the ear, I love that these bitches are smart with their branding. Thank you for bringing season 6 brand. Branding is very important.
Hmm.
As you know, the branding genius of No Ma'am over here. Branding is very important.
Absolutely.
Colors, like phrases, through lines, like everything is really important. And I love that so far we're getting entrance lines that make sense with who they are. And I think that's great.
Absolutely.
Okay. Next up, obviously, speaking of the
Speaking
devil
of
and the
branding.
and the producers are shady for that because obviously they had her come in right after Van Gogh. We have Dulce. What did you
Hmm.
think?
For me, overall, the looks are a soft ma'am. I appreciate the culture and heritage that she's bringing to the stage. I always love when the queen does that, especially Mexican queen. I just think the looks were a little bit underwhelming. But then I saw her post on Instagram, and I get it. Like, she said she didn't have the resources, so she did what the best she could. Um, and I think she's presenting it the best way she possibly can. For me, it's just like the runway look wasn't extravagant enough for that category, but I think she looked beautiful, and I absolutely appreciate the Guadalupe reference.
Yeah, I mean, I love Dulce. So anything right now that Dulce does, I'm gonna be like,
She
yes,
does no
live it.
wrong.
Like,
Yes.
right? She does no wrong. And the fact that she's a Mexican queen, love that even
Hmm.
more. Like, duh. I also give this a soft ma'am. I think in the grand scheme of all of the looks, right, it was a little on the softer side.
Hmm.
Still wasn't a bad look. I still see the branding. I still see the cultural references. I love the colors. Like, bring it back to her heritage. Think that's great. I love that she said she didn't prepare an interest line, but she's gonna talk in Spanish because people talk in
No,
Spanish. I'm like,
still not gonna understand it.
still
Oh,
not gonna understand. Love that.
her verse, one of my favorites. Her rapping in Spanish, I absolutely adored it. My new favorite line, and I'm gonna say this for the rest of the season, is "Maldita gordita." Like, I am team "Maldita gordita" all the way. I fucking love that. I need that tattooed somewhere.
It's listen, and she's I love a bitch that's gonna stand on who she is. And she stood
That's.
on business, right?
Hmm.
She didn't back down from the conversation that she had with Van Gogh in the Untucked Lounge. Like she was like, listen, it is what it is. You may we're not gonna be friends, and it is and like that's
That's fine.
it. Right. And that's something that two New York bitches, we understand. If
Hmm.
it's one thing that we don't gonna do, we're not gonna fake the funk. If we don't like you, we don't like you. And we're gonna be like, if you don't like us, oh well, it is what it is.
We'll be fine. We'll still wake up tomorrow.
Yes. But again, you know what? I have to give the casting, and I also have to give Brooklyn credit because I do believe that she has a little bit of say into who comes on the show, is that she is all about diversity. It's diversity
Absolutely.
in drag, it's diversity in just your culture, it's
Hmm.
diversity in thought. I love that. And I think that is so important, which is why I always appreciate the Canadian seasons of Drag Race. Every time they come on, I'm always invested because that's when we get to see true diversity of drag. And I think it's great.
Yeah, and I think that's absolutely something that the other franchises need to do more. Looking at you, UK, especially UK. But just one more thing about Dulce is I love how articulate she was when she was having that conversation with Van Gogh. Like, she didn't raise her voice, she didn't yell, she just let her feelings be known and absolutely lived for her. What was it? Uncalled for, unasked, on everything. I'm living for her. I don't know, just her in general. Honestly, everything about her.
Right. I think it was important. It really was. And I think it's very smart of Dulce because no shade. We know how the drag race fandom is. I guarantee you, if Dulce would have raised her voice at Van Gogh, even
Hmm.
though there was undertones of microaggressions coming from Van Gogh to Dulce,
Hmm.
Dulce would have been painted as the aggressor in this
Yeah.
situation, based with the fans.
Yes. And here's the thing, when the conversation started, like, it wasn't meant to be shady, it wasn't meant to start an argument. She was just answering a question that the girls had asked, was like, "Oh, so are you guys best friends?" She was like, "No, we actually just don't get along. There's no bad blood, but it's just we don't get along." Um like, it didn't start off as her trying to pick a fight. She was just simply explaining the situation.
Yeah. And again, her tone of voice, how she presented this, how she did a rebuttal, how
Mhm.
she responded, had she did everything differently, maybe even would have raised her voice, probably would have got up off the couch, whatever it is, pointed a finger, did something, she would have been painted as the aggressor, even if Van Gogh was more aggressive in the beginning. And
Mm-hmm.
that's just how the fandom is. Unfortunately, we just need to work with our fandom a little differently because they just need to understand that. And there was somebody on Twitter that did that. They was like, if it was an opposite, if like two black queens did that to a white queen, there would be a totally different conversation that's happening.
Mm.
And for people to start realizing that, I mean, obviously it takes them 6 seasons of Canada and like how many seasons of US and how many international seasons of Drag Race for them to put two and two together that maybe the fandom has a problem. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's a little too late, but the fact that we're recognizing it, maybe it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. And the sad thing about it is, I feel like it's not even a big portion or like a majority of the fandom, but they are the loudest. Which is the worst part, like because that's what you hear. Because I feel like most of the fandom isn't like that, but because the hateful ones are so loud, you kind of see that more.
Right. I agree. All right. Next up, we have Ebony LeBeau. What did you think?
For me, it's a yes, ma'am. Again, Brandon is there. You absolutely know who she is. I love this entrance look. I think she looks beautiful. I love the kind of Pink Friday reference, honestly. Even though we don't support that anymore.
Hmm.
But mm. The runway look I think was great. I completely agree with Brooke, where like I feel like the do rag should have been longer or maybe even like more bejeweled or something. I just feel like it needed a little something extra for it to like really take it to the next level, for it to really be like more is more. And I loved her verse.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Ebony LaBelle did really great. This is a yes, ma'am, all day. Would I have preferred that do rag to be all the way to the back of that runway? Hell yes, percent. I would have preferred it to be like the length of like Simone's do rag. Remember when
Mm-hmm.
Simone
Mm-hmm.
did that, and it was it was the entire runway. Do that. That's more is more. That would have been great. I love her verse. I thought having the trans flag as her outfit, as a cheerleading outfit, that was
Mm-hmm.
cute. She was like booty shaking. She was twerking. Like, yes. What I love about Ebony LaBelle is that she's like an old soul packaged into like a young body.
I very
So
much
she's
felt that.
like, right, she's like an auntie, but yeah, she's young. And I just think that I live for bitches like child. And because that's very me. And so I love it. I just think it's great. I think it's great.
Yeah,
I
no,
got
I
no
love for
notes.
her.
And she pretty. She real pretty.
She is.
Like,
She
she a pretty
is.
girl, y'all.
You
Like
know
Ebony
she
LaBelle is pretty.
she got the tray like all up in her DMs all day, every day.
You saw them titties?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, Ebony got me feeling type of way. All right. Then we have Paolo Perfection. What are we thinking?
I absolutely adore Paolo. Like her delusion is everything I look for in a drag queen. I absolutely adore how she's just in her own little world. Her verse was one of my favorites. How sonically maybe not the best, but she just made it so her own. And then that little bit at the finale of like well, one, the first line, which was like, fuck, what was it? Something shaped Maro just shaved her pussy. I forgot exactly what it was, but I lived for that. But then the ending of the verse, which is the universe wants me to win and I'm the universe or whatever, I adore that. Like she is just so herself, and I love that. Like nobody's rooting for Paolo more than Paolo. She's beautiful. I think she looks great. For the looks though, I will say Softmap. I think she looks beautiful, but I don't know. I think she could have gone bigger with the runway.
Would have to give her looks a meh. And the reason why is because if you look at everyone else together, like I think there's a little lackluster. But if you put that with who she is and her brand is very on point for who she is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have that piece, and I just think that that makes sense for like Paolo. I also
Mm-hmm.
love how delusional she is, and I don't want people to think that we're saying, "Oh, she's delusional" in a way like that's derogatory. It's like, no, we're saying this as the highest degree. That's what we're living. Okay,
Yes,
we love
we
it
love a
because she's
delusional
so
queen.
yes, and the reason why she's so delusional is because she does not care.
Mm-mm. Not a single fuck given when they were having a conversation on the couch and they named her as like the bottom queen. She was like, honestly, I don't give a fuck. I I thought that was everything. I was like, yes, Paulo, like absolutely yes.
Yeah, and I think it's a one. This is where the producer's editing played a really great factor into that iconic "I
Mm-hmm.
don't give a fuck." It's because we see her like contemplating.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and she's like fidgeting and she's doing all
Mm-hmm.
this. So we think that maybe it's
Mm-hmm.
really affecting her. And then it was a pause, and then she looked over and she was like, "I really don't give a fuck." And I just think it was so dry that loved it. It was deadpan, but it was pointed. It was my
Mm-hmm.
perfect, like, it was a cherry on top. It was great.
Absolutely. I love her. I want to see more of her every day.
Every day. I agree. All right. Then we have PM. What are we thinking?
I love PM. Ow, sorry. Uh, I love PM. I love her drag aesthetic. I love again a queen who does not stray from what we've seen from who her drag persona is. For the looks though, I will say this is a meh. One, I hate that shade of green. I'm sorry, I just don't like it. But then I also just feel like for PM, I expected way more for the runway. Like this isn't giving me like her best drag or anything like that. It's just giving me like something she'll just wear out at the bar. Obviously I don't know because I don't see her perform, but it just didn't feel like that grand coming from her, especially with the promo look that we got from her. I thought her verse was cute. I think she had a good showing this episode overall.
And just throwing it out there. They go by they them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see what you mean about PM because they had a really great promo look, but I also think
Amazing.
that their promo look kind of is a through line with the entrance look and what's on the runway. Now, the runway look, would I have wanted more? Yes. Do I mind this color green? No. Is it my favorite color green? No. But I don't hate it as much as you
Yeah,
hate that color green. I would have preferred bigger titties, bigger everything. Like more is more. Go big or go home. So for that, I give it a very soft ma'am. But I'm intrigued by PM. I am curious to see what they're gonna bring because that verse probably it wasn't my favorite, but it was a good verse. There was some undertones, some hints where I'm like, oh, PM can get real crazy.
mm-hmm.
There's some
The
splits and some
the
tricks
bitch
in
can
there and
twirl.
the flexibility. I'm like, yo, I love it. But there's one thing I do want to talk about PM is what they said in Untuck. Obviously, PM and Hazel, they know each other from back home, and I think that's great. And then PM said normally they're used to people making fun of them
Mm-hmm.
and not appreciating what they bring. So the fact that they were in the top, the first like challenge, that they were surprised. I thought that was really unfortunate. But I love that for them in terms of like getting the recognition that they deserve because I think they're really talented. But also it's just really y'all, like, what is wrong with society?
That like granted not everybody's drag is for everyone, but I would never go to a bar or a queen show and make fun of them. Like if it's not my cup of tea, I'm still gonna tip the queen. I'm just not gonna say anything. That's it. I'm still gonna give her her flowers, but I'm not gonna badmouth them or make fun of them. Like that's just mean. Stay home.
I know. Yeah. All right. Then we have Maya Fox. What are we thinking?
I give her looks a yes, ma'am. I think they were very well put together looks. I absolutely adore this entrance look. It was one of my favorites. I love that she brought her culture to the stage. I live for an indigenous queen, and I think she's funny.
I gave Maya a meh. And the reason why is because, no shade, I didn't see much of Maya this episode. I was
That's
like,
fair. That is
what
fair.
happened to Maya? So when I was putting everything together and I'm looking at, like promos, I'm looking at everything and I'm like, I remember seeing Maya and then I don't remember seeing Maya. like, like no shade. I think there's potential there. I love the indigenous queen. Love it. Love them. I think when they come on Canada's Drag Race, they always bring something new and unique, and I
Mm-hmm.
love their perspective. But this episode, and it's the first episode, and I'm sad to say this, but Maya fade into the background. And when you fade into the background on the first episode, that's never a good thing.
No, yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I don't think she did anything wrong this episode, but when there's so many queens, especially so many queens with like huge personalities, it's easy to get lost. So I hope throughout the rest of the season we get to see her come out of her shell more, and we really get to see who Maya Fox is.
Same, same. Okay. Then we have Saltina Shaker. What are we thinking?
I will give this an over just for the entrance look. I think the runway look was fine. It's great. It's really well done. It's a really good look. It just wasn't my favorite. But there's nothing wrong with it, I think. But that entrance look, I absolutely adore. I need that jacket in 10 different colors. I want to wear that all winter. I love the boots. She had one of my favorite verses. I I'm a Saltina Shaker stan, and like her performance this episode just kind of honestly confirmed why I am a Saltina Shaker stan.
I am not a Saltina Shaker stan. I don't even know who Saltina Shaker is. And I said that when we talked
Beautiful
about the Meet the
gowns,
Queens. Beautiful
beautiful gowns.
gowns. Now, that aside, I just feel like I needed to put that disclaimer out in the world. But that aside, it was a good like first showing for me, in my opinion, for like Saltina. I give her a yes, ma'am, because I didn't understand the lizard look or dragon look. When I hear more is more, that's not the first thing that comes to my mind. So I'm curious as to why that was the first thing that came to her mind. I love the versatility of a queen that can come in and give us multiple different looks and different personalities, but not on the first episode though. Like, I want to see who you are. And I
Mhm.
don't know if this all was a good representation of who Sultina is.
Yeah, honestly, that like she really gagged me when
But
she walked out
what
in that runway. Um, but I get the more is more part with it. Like I feel like it is very extravagant.
I mean, true. She also blew smoke out of her mouth. Like, that's how I was like, is she a dragon?
Yeah.
Like, is this Game of Thrones? Could be Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
So, up next, we have Sammy Landry. What did you think? And you talked about
I
Sammy Landry earlier in the episode, though.
Yes, I absolutely adore her. Another whose delusional drag persona I absolutely live for. I live for like this like trashy like redneck cigarette mom vibe that she's got going on. I absolutely love that for her. I will give it an over because I feel like everything was very on brand for her. And I also think for Sammy Landry, this was more is more. Like all these mismatching fabrics, all the colors, it was one of the most hideous, beautiful things I've ever seen. I absolutely loved it.
I like Sammy Landry. I didn't think I was going to coming into the season, like from the obviously the Meet the Queens, because I was like, oh, she's very pedestrian. But pedestrian is her drag, like, mall
Yeah.
drag,
It
and I think that's
hmm
great. It's been a long time since I've seen like mall drag on TV, and I'm like,
hmm
this is good. But I give Sammy Landry a yes, ma'am. You know what is interesting, and I probably will get canceled by saying this, or there may be some people who don't like what I say, but like she's giving me in these two photos, she's giving me Willem. Like I'm
Bitch, the way
getting Willem vibes.
I was waiting for you to like pause for me to say that. Like it's very much giving like early on like Willem vibes. And I live for it. Actually, not even that early on because she used to still be wearing shit like this. Honestly.
Yeah, I'm like she's giving
Yeah.
me Willem vibes. Like there's
hmm
some Willem teas in this. I was like, oh, okay, season 4. Like I see some Willem in this.
I know I get that because I was literally about to say that. So I was just waiting for you to take a pause for me to say that. But listen, I
Okay.
love listen, Willem's one of my favorites. I am absolutely okay with that.
Yeah. No, I mean it's just I think the resemblance is there in some of the makeup, just the aesthetic, and the earlier days of Willem on Drag Race. Not so much now. I think Willem has come a long way. So like,
No,
yeah,
see, I can absolutely see Willem wearing this runway look just out and about.
I feel like on Race Chasers, Willem had that runway look though,
Right?
or
Exactly.
something
Like
similar to that. Yeah,
yeah, like I feel like this is still very much Willem aesthetic.
I think even that hairstyle is very Willem
Yeah,
like coded.
yeah, absolutely. Like honestly, if you like look back far enough and squint a little, like that's Willem. That's Willem on the runway.
No, it really is. Like,
Yeah.
okay, then we have Caramel. What are we thinking?
I love this. I will give it an over. I think she looked absolutely beautiful. This was my favorite entrance look. I think she looked great. I love how like big and like grand and royal this was. The only thing I did not like about her looks, and this is just me being nitpicky, is just I don't think the entrance look needed the jewels on it, like the stones on it. I don't think it needed it. I think it would have looked better without it. But I love Caramel. I'm a Caramel stan. I want to see more of her. I'm living for her.
I can't agree with you more. This is an over. I live for some caramel. Love her. Sis, like, it's chocolate. Come on now.
I
Come
wish they would have
come
added the
on now.
sound. I wish they would have added the sound, the little like trumpet sound. That would have been great.
That would have been amazing. It's chocolate. Thank you for bringing it back. Love that. I think both looks is great. It tells me a story of who she is. I loved her verse, Bayesian baddie. Like I'm like, you better whip your hair. Like it was just so good. Thank you, Caramel. Like Also, really great personality, really fun in the confessionals. I'm super excited. I do believe she's probably going to be a lipstick assassin. Hopefully, we don't see her in the bottom. But if we do, I fear for the girls because I think she is going to turn it out.
Mm-hmm. I mean, do I want her in the bottom? No. Do I want to see her lip sync?
Yes.
So maybe once or twice. Maybe a couple lip syncs
I'll
for the
just
win.
for the win. Let's do it for the
Yes.
win.
Yes.
Yes. I love that. But I just think that she's a force to be reckoned with. I'm super excited to have her on this season. Did not know that she was Kimmy Couture's daughter, which
Mm-hmm.
makes
It
so
makes
much
sense. It
sense
makes sense.
because you know how we love Isis
Yes. Oh wait, that
and
makes her
Michaela.
Isis's granddaughter.
Yes, yes, yes. I mean, and to have Michaela Couture as your auntie, like really? That's great.
Isn't she like way younger than her too?
Probably, who
I live
knows?
for that. I
But
live for that.
to have Michaela Couture as your like drag auntie and
I
have
love
Isis
that.
Couture as your drag grandma, like that's amazing.
Hmm. Do y'all need like a godchild or something?
That's like Canadian Trinity Tuck, in my
Right?
opinion.
No, yeah. Yes.
Like that's
I love
royalty
that.
right there. Like that's
It is. It
great.
is. That's drag family royalty. For sure.
Hello, the couture? Like, what? I just think that's
Mm-hmm.
great. So for that, if I didn't like caramel before, love her now. But that didn't change because I live for caramel. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm just excited. I'm excited to see what she brings. I'm excited that she had a really great introduction to Canada's Drag Race. And I'm excited to see how the fans receive her because I think she is going to be a really great contender for the crown.
Agree. I can't wait to see more of her.
I can't agree with you more. And then we have Velma Jones. What did you think?
I think this is a yes, ma'am. She surprised me. I didn't think I was gonna like her as much as I did. Um, and that's just because for me in the Meet the Queen, she wasn't the biggest standout. I am intrigued to see the drag king persona kind of come out, and I wish she maybe would have teased it a little bit this episode. But I absolutely adore this entrance look. I love the statement that she made with it and the entrance line, period. Loved it. I think the runway look was solid. I just wish the headpiece didn't cover her face so much. But I really like the dress and the sleeves. Her verse, I think, was okay. It just wasn't my favorite, but I think overall it was a solid showing for Velma.
I give Velma a yes, ma'am. I love that she came out in the period dress. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we almost had it with Manila, and then the
Mm.
producer said,
What could have
"Lies, you can't
been?
bring that on the show." Right? What could have been? We almost had the period dress from Manila Luzon. I think it's really great that she came out and she was like period and it's tampons. Amazing. Also, like that the runway I think is maxi pads.
Mhm. So yeah, I didn't fully understand that because maybe I mean I don't use um pads or tampons, but I think it might have been something about a specific brand, and that's what she was going for. But they seemed to know what it was, and they were living for it.
Yeah. Now, I do agree with Brooklyn that the dress is wearing her more than she
Yeah,
is wearing the dress.
yeah.
And I don't think
I
that was her intention. I think
No,
it's because we can't see her face with the hat. Like, I think that's what it
I
is.
think that's what it is, honestly, because I don't think the rest of the outfit is too much. I think it was specifically the headpiece that kind of swallowed her up.
Yes. I like the big billowy sleeves. I like the
I love
circles.
them.
I like the bottom of the dress. I think how it like bellows and you can see it. I like that it's ombre. I think that's also great too. It does remind me of Maxi Pad, you know, the commercial when they have the Maxi Pad and then they pour the blue liquid and then it seeps in the thing.
Oh, that's what she was. See, I don't really get it, but I live for it nonetheless. But yeah, I don't really. Okay, that makes sense now. Okay, I get it.
Okay, to show how absorbent it is.
I
But
also
okay.
I love that it was an AFAB queen that did this.
Yes. I also like that it's Velma and Johnny Jones, and to put them together, it's VJ.
Mm-hmm. Vagina.
I was
Yes,
just like, this is great branding. Like,
it
this is
is. It
amazing.
is. It is. These girls really are
So I'm
killing it this
excited.
season with the Brandon.
They really are. Also, I'm excited that she was the only one that decided to sing.
Yes, I think she. I'm again not my favorite, but I think it was a solid verse.
It was smart because
Yeah.
it made her stand out because she's the only one that sung, and the way it
No,
was composed, yeah, she's the only one that was singing. She's literally the only one that sung.
didn't Star kind of sing a little bit? Like it wasn't like the full
Yeah, but
verse, but it was
they were like talking, singing. She's the only one that was like singing.
okay. Fair. Okay, fair.
Right, just like Hazel was rapping.
Oh,
Okay,
Hazel was
like
rap.
Hazel was rapping. A lot of them was just like talking really fast and like putting it together. Some of the rhythm, I was like, oh no. But I liked Velma's because
Van
she
Gogh.
said that she's a drag orchestra and she could do everything. And I'm like, so far it seems like she's doing everything.
See, my only issue with that is I think it takes more than two people to make an orchestra, which is great that you can do everything, but I don't know if it's I'd quite call it an orchestra just yet. At least from what we see.
Shade.
I'm just saying, if you want to be technical, that's it.
Shade. But we see that the top 5 is Velma Jones, Saltina Shaker, PM, Van Gogh, and Evelyn Bell. Did you agree with the top 5?
No, I would not have put PM or Van Gogh there. I
Okay.
would have gone with Hazel and Caramel.
Honestly, I
Oh,
don't mind Ebony Bell being up there. I did not mind Van Gogh's verse. Even PM's verse was okay to me. Like I thought that was fine. I would have taken Velma and Saltina out and would have put Hazel and Caramel.
I can see that. Yeah. Honestly, I probably would have no. There's no shades to any of the girls. It's just personal preference. But also, I actually probably would have replaced Velma with Sammy, just because I live for Sammy.
Sammy's was fun too, though. Like that was fun. For some reason, some of the verses took me out because I don't think they rode the beat as well. I
True.
think Hazel did a really good job at riding the beat, especially giving us those ebbs and those flows. I loved Caramel's because I thought rhythmically made sense. Some of the other ones took me out because whatever downbeat they were riding was not the beat that they were supposed to be on.
Oh no, absolutely. I just lived for Sammy's because again, it was just very her. Like it was very on brand for her. Like it made sense. Like yes, that's Sammy Landry on a song.
Yeah. What else? Dulce's verse was cute. I thought
Dulce's
she
verse.
was like riding the I thought she rode the beat. Star Doll opened up the song really well. I think she rode the beat. No shade. Even Maya rode the beat.
I personally think that first 4 group of girls did the best. Or as a group or as a section, I think that like first third of the song sounded the best.
It did. No shade. Like
yeah, I think it just flowed like really well into each other. While with some of the other verses, I felt like it was too harsh of a transition.
It was also because I know maybe just because how my brain is wired, but I like rhythm and I like rhymes. So it sometimes you can have a play on words. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like a rhyme. It is. But if we can make it seem like it rhymes, I think then we've done something. I just think some verses fit the song more than others. And then I love that, Lemon came on and Lemon did her thing. But I also don't think that that was Lemon's best like verse.
No, but I still think she did better than most of the queens. But it's Lemon. Like, come on.
True, because I think at a part in the song, she didn't ride the beat either, and I was surprised because Lemon is always on the beat.
True. I think overall the song just could have been mixed a little bit better, honestly. So
I think that's what it is. I think it's just composed. I think the composed should have just been different.
Yeah,
because was not a fan of how the final edit came out because I was like, oh no.
Yeah, no, some of those transitions I was like, ooh. Especially that girl that went right after Lemon. I was like, ooh, that was shady, girl.
Right. That's real shady. They needed no shade, but they needed a Michelle Visage because I find it hard to believe Michelle would have came in and she would have chopped and screwed and she would have got them together because ain't no way she was going to have like her being the coach and some of those verses like that. No, ma'am.
No,
I'd have been a no, ma'am.
Honestly, I think that's kind of on brand for Canada. Like, no shade, but like some of their mixing and some of their songs, I'm like, ooh. That was a choice. Y'all need somebody in there.
True. I mean, we've had the Queen of the North. I mean, they can't drop it like ISIS, and they can't asthma like Michaela Couture. They can't do that. So like, and not everybody could be the Virgo Queen. So I mean, I get it. Yeah, it's true. Even though I loved Perla, I loved Perla's verse.
I love Perla.
Shout out to season 5 because you can't have that really great song. You can't have that really great song from season 5 and then have this one. I'm like, oh damn. But yes, but the girls did what they could with what was giving. And so
yes,
shout out to y'all. But we see that the winner of episode 1 is Van Gogh, but there's no loser. So nobody's in the bottom. This was a top 5 and nobody's going home this week, which I thought was really smart because the guest judge this week was Paula Abdul. We know we love Paula. Shout out to Paula Abdul. And the winner got to lip sync against Brooklyn Heights, but
Hello.
also Brooklyn wanted to lip sync in front of Paula Abdul, which I don't blame her, to Cold Hearted Snake.
Yes, yes. I mean, girl, this is your show. Live your fantasy. Do whatever the fuck you want. I absolutely live for Brooklyn as the host or head judge. Um, but her choosing to go up there was her absolutely living her fantasy. I do think she held back though. Like I expected way more from Brooklyn, and I think she held back because it was Van Gogh and she didn't want to like absolutely demolish her on stage. Because let's be real, Van Gogh would have not been able to keep up with her.
I still don't think Van Gogh was able to keep up
No,
with
exactly.
her.
And she took it easy on her. Like that's not the Brooklyn. Maybe because it wasn't a lip sync for your life, but that's not the Brooklyn we saw lip syncing on Drag Race.
Yeah, true. I give you that. My favorite part, I'll have two favorite parts of the lip sync. My first favorite part is, that throwback to Coco Montrese.
And then
And
the
then they
cut.
did the all of them, and they cut to all three of them doing it at the same time. And Paula is living and then she's like reptile. That was so good. That was nasty. Whoever is in that editing room, you deserve a raise because that was good. And then my second favorite moment, which could rival that first one, was this photo right here, which at the end when she
Where
flicked
Nell's next
that.
time?
That's no, when she flicked that tail
No.
and that shit wrapped around Van Gogh, bitch, I died.
Yes, but then like her right away, like literally looking at her and be like, where Nails next time?
Go next time.
I live for that. I love how shady Brooklyn is, but it's also like she gets it. Like, hi, she's a professional. She's been doing this for years. I would be very ashamed if Brooklyn told me that. Honestly, like I wouldn't know how to react.
No, but I love that Van Gogh took it on the chin, and she was
Yeah,
like Auntie Brooke don't miss nothing, and Brooke was like, nope, I see everything,
yeah,
which is true. I mean, it's her job to see it.
it
But I thought that
literally
was
is.
good. I thought that was funny. I also thought Paula getting up on the stage and teaching all the girls how to
Oh
bevel.
my
I thought that
god.
was cute.
That was my absolute favorite part of the whole episode. I loved Paula as a judge. I think she was great. I wanted to replace Brad as one of the main judges, honestly, because I love her. But that Beverly part was so funny. Especially when she told who was it? Was it Ebony? That she was like, "Oh, I can't see, but I trust you."
No, that was Saltina.
Saltina, right?
Van Gogh is like a linebacker on the stage. That was so funny. And then it cut to Van Gogh actually playing rugby, which I was like, wow, that's interesting.
Never mind. I'm not even moving on.
Okay. But there's a few things I want to talk about. Obviously we have some
Okay.
headlines, which is new, right? Headlines, what I love is because we kinda touched upon this in the actual episode, but you see Velma and Johnny Jones. I think it's rare that you have you look really sexy as a drag king, but also really pretty as a drag queen. That's great.
Yeah, no, I really hope we get to see Johnny come out real soon. Just because I find it so interesting. And I
Yes.
think this
And
fandom needs to get exposed to drag kings.
they do. And also, obviously, in the middle, I put this tweet from Dulce. She says, Mexicans, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Let's go for the crown. Being Mexican is a source of pride. Immigrants are very important in this country. And I am an example that it doesn't matter where you come from or if you can speak well, you can achieve everything. And I just think that is great. I love her being on this show. I think she's going to be amazing for representation, especially in this political climate. I think the more representation we have on TV, the better. Throw it in their face. Literally everywhere. Propaganda. If she can dress up in the Mexican flag every single episode, do it. Do it.
I mean,
Do
there's
it.
other things she can do, but yes. But I think her drag is really important right now, and I think her showcasing her culture is so important, especially on such a huge platform. Again, on her Instagram post that she made a couple days ago, she brought up the fact that she grew up being very ashamed of being Mexican and just wanting to fit in because of the bullies, and they would make fun of her, and she was surrounded by all these like white people, and I absolutely like felt that, like I connected with that very deep down. I grew up kind of having that same sentiment that she did, and now I just want to showcase it to the world. So I think she was absolutely needed this season. I wanted to continue showcasing Mexican culture. I love Dulce, and I wish the best for her, and I want her to do great this season.
Same. And then lastly, we got to talk about Paolo being so like delusional and being in her bubble, and how people are appreciating the fact that she has no care in the world and she lives for that. And obviously we live for that too. So that was the headlines, but obviously we have to have hot takes. And so who said that? Right? And really I think it's really funny. Obviously, we talked about it. And so this is the tweet that I was referencing in the beginning when I was saying how they said if their shoe was on the other foot. They was like, if that was a white queen telling that story to a black queen, and then the black queen was laughing in her face, y'all fans would have been in the comments tearing her to pieces, period. And I just think that is very on brand. That is for a subcategory of the drag race fandom that does happen. And so the fact that Dulce was able to flip that narrative and really just come out, to me, I think came out on top of that conversation and made no shade. It kind of made Van Gogh look a little stupid and foolish. I thought it was really great.
I agree. I mean,
And then
I'm just
the
trying to be
Wendy
nice about
Williams
the whole
tells you
situation.
everything. Yeah, and then the Wendy Williams tells you everything right here. It's like there's something that's very like comes off very shady about like Van Gogh, and so that's why I said that multiple people are saying the same thing. So
Yeah,
remember, again, it's just the first episode. We don't know what's going to happen in the other episodes, but we do know that Dulce and Van Gogh have history, so that's probably why it came off the way it did. And Giovanni needs to throw his cat outside of that room. I don't understand why he's going to continue having the cat that scratches him in his room. Like, I
just
don't
wants
know.
attention.
I don't have a cat, so maybe that's probably why I'm evil. But if you enjoyed our recap of Canada's Drag Race, make sure to follow the girls, make sure to follow us, and also make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a single episode of No Ma'am. Until next time, y'all.